Sorry, guys. I've been talking to you for about 3 minutes, and you weren't there. We all have brain farts, and I guess that was my brain fart for the day. So let's try this again. Hi, I'm Green Irene, and thank you for tuning into the Fight Fibro Fridays live Q&A with me. I really do appreciate all of the questions that have been coming in. I love that they keep showing up in my private messaging and my email. There has been a lot of questions to get through, and I do try and clump them together, as those of you who are regular viewers already know. That being said, if you are a viewer who typically tunes in and has some questions while I'm chatting, please, I think if you're signed up with StreamYard or via Facebook, I think your messages will show up. Because I'm using StreamYard, I think they will show up in the comments section. That means I can answer on the site questions. So if you have questions about something I'm saying, or I've veered off the path of the answer, please don't hesitate to ask me to back it up, or to clarify, or to be a little more specific, or add more detail, whatever it may be. That being said, the questions that have come in the last couple of weeks have been absolutely awesome, and I thank you very kindly. It's wonderful that your questions are coming in via private message and email. They're a lot to filter through, so I try and put them into digest version. That being said, it would be really cool, and I think I already said this. If I'm repeating myself, I apologize. I'm not sure if I said it in the 3 minutes I wasn't live, but if you could sign up with StreamYard or via Facebook or whatever it is, so that I can actually see your comments during the live feed, I will be able to expound upon anything that I'm saying. And if I've digressed, or I've wandered away from the answer to something else, or, if you want more detail, if you want less detail, if you want more clarification, that sort of thing, please don't hesitate to ask me live, and don't hesitate to send me emails. Now, the other way to reach me, of course, is through my websites. They're running across the bottom. Fight Fibromyalgia Green and Clean with Green Irene, Pharma Free, can be found at the Fibro Fight series Facebook page, or fightfibro.ca is the website. There is also greenirene.ca. And if you want to say thanks and you want to show your support and you want to buy me a coffee, hey, I'm always down for that. That's really cool too. That link is in the comments as well. For those of you that have bought me coffee or continue to buy me coffees, yay, thank you. You keep me going. Much appreciated. So let's get to some of today's questions. One of the first questions that came up was, what can I do to relieve the pain from fibromyalgia? Okay, so this is the first question most new patients ask. What can I do to get rid of this pain? Because I'm assuming you have come here and asked me simply because you don't want to go the pharmaceutical route. Yes, there's all kinds of pharmaceuticals that your doctor can try and may be willing to try. In fact, I very intentionally printed off a couple of them. There is, Cymbalta, which is also known as duloxetine. There's Lyrica or pregabalin, gabapentin. There's Savilia, which is milnacipran. Those are very commonly used to treat fibromyalgia, as are tricyclic antidepressants like Lyrica, and that's to modulate the chemicals in the brain. There's also serotonin uptakes like the SSRIs. There's local anesthetics that can be used. There's anticonvulsants that some patients may be prescribed, like a Neurontin or a beta blocker, that sort of thing, and then a crap load of muscle relaxants. As you can see, there are all kinds of pharmaceuticals that are available. Assuming, once again, that you have come here to talk to me and you've asked me that question, I have made the presumption that you don't want to take that route. Yay, you. Fibromyalgia, the pain of fibromyalgia can certainly be managed using the 3 primary therapies that I use and promote and teach and consult and guide. And that's cannabis, neuro-linguistic programming, and hypnosis. And in conjunction, those three things have really worked for me to manage flare-ups, manage the symptoms, and control pain as it comes to me. There are also other therapies as well. Acupuncture has worked for a lot of patients. Acupuncture, Tai Chi, massage therapy is wonderful, something to consider. Now, that being said, and you're going to hear this often, and I know, I do. So I almost feel guilty preaching it at you, except for the fact that I do know that it makes a tremendous difference in alleviating the pain symptoms, and that's exercise. And I get the fact that you really don't want to. You're exhausted. Your body is just achy and sore, and the idea of doing any sort of exercise is very overwhelming. But trust me when I say, from firsthand experience, absolutely exercise every single day in some way, shape, or form. Very low impact exercises like Tai Chi or rehabilitative yoga, which is not the same yoga that you see those beautiful swan-like stretches, but rather rehabilitative yoga. So using the support systems, getting that balance into your body, having that straight form, adjusting your posture, doing those deep breathing exercises. By doing these every day, you are going to reduce the number of pain and achy flare-ups. So, I'm pretty sure. Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Hello. It's nice to see everybody here. So, okay, now back to alleviating the pains of fibromyalgia. So, exercise. Diet is a huge thing when it comes to pain. We are what we eat, and that says it's so much more than just my grandmother's voice ringing in my ears. Our cells are made from the fuel and food that we provide them, correct? So if we're feeding our bodies chemical shitstorms, our body is going to react to that as though it is a storm, and things are going to get chaotic and imbalanced. Am I going to say that, I never do junk food? Of course not. But I'm very, very conscientious and do things in moderation. So having a very wholesome diet of whole, real food, fruit, vegetables, your nuts, your seeds, your grains, and finding meals that work around that. I mean, I love spinach and quinoa with a little pad of infused, yes, cannabis infused cream cheese to kind of soften it all up, and just a driblet of salt to that, Himalayan pink salt, and oh, yum, what a wonderful treat. Packed full of protein, really does my body good. The digestive system appreciates it. The brain appreciates it. All of those cannabinoids. Eating raw cannabis is tremendously beneficial for balancing the chemicals in the brain, as well as creating an environment through the endocannabinoid system for that central nervous system to do what it has to do, and for the immune system to stop beating the snot out of itself. Thought I heard voices. It's Alexa. It's the music playing in the background. Okay, I'm not going crazy yet. Okay, so diet and exercise will have a tremendous impact and influence on the pain that you experience while dealing with fibromyalgia. Cannabis works in all of those arenas. Not only does it give you immediate relief from spastic pain or spasticity through inhalation, and I do recommend using a vaporizer, but not everybody has access to a vaporizer. And so the infamous roll a joint, have a couple of puffs, and put it out. Yes, it is the most inefficient way and costly way to use your cannabis product, but it is a very quick way to get it into you. So if you can, definitely use a vaporizer. And of course, see, I have one of my handy dandy little here. So this is a concentrated form of cannabis. It's cannabis oil that sits into my vaporizer. Yeah. Okay. It's a concentrate. but it's still cannabis. It contains all of the essential cannabinoids that are necessary to help reduce inflammation, to help induce calm, or stimulate calm, stimulate an appropriate appetite. Diet, exercise. If you're exercising and your body gets really sore, use something like a cannabis-infused tincture. Spraying that onto the skin or to the affected area will reduce the inflammation and decrease the amount of achy, pain, spasticity that's going on there. Because the tinctures I make are alcohol-based, I do use a cannabis-infused cream immediately after. Mine is empty and it's over there, so I'm gonna spare you guys the details of me jumping up and running and getting it. But it is a cream that I apply immediately after applying this. It kind of soaks into the skin afterwards. This goes a little bit deeper, and then that kind of coats it like a Band-Aid. Absolutely wonderful. Yes, wonderful. So you're including cannabis into your diet as part of your menu. That is wonderful. The salsa with cannabis leaves. I bet that is delicious. I'm sure that would be wonderful. And it's so healthy for us. So eating healthy does not mean eating crappy food. It does mean that we are giving our bodies the essential nutrients and vitamins and minerals that it requires to produce healthy, productive cells so that our bodies can work for us, and we can use our brains efficiently. So there are a lot of alternative therapies to pharmaceuticals. Yes. Hypnosis really works because it helps us map over the pain. It can act as an analgesic completely. We've seen people go into surgeries using nothing more than hypnosis instead of, being knocked out by the anesthetic. So hypnosis at different, from a variety of levels, from the most basic transient trance, the simplest of trances, just to zone out, to modulate that pain, to turn down the volume, whatever it is that you're working with. Or if you are in excruciating pain, you can actually numb the area by using your brain. Neurolinguistic programming helps us create the scripts to install so that we can run these new programs from our mind easily and effortlessly. So understanding your language, how your brain interprets things, understanding how you talk to yourself and how to use that information to create your own program. That's what I do. I help you, because once we've had 2 or 3 sessions, I can pretty much guarantee that after that, I may or may not see you. And usually it's just because, hey, I'm doing great. Or you've got a new something that you've had to come back for. But 2 or 3 sessions is really all it takes for you to learn how to do it for yourself. For first me to provide a treatment, you to understand how that works for you, you to exercise that treatment, and voila, you can start doing it on your own. So NLP, hypnosis, cannabis, my 3 primary tools I use to take power over the pain when fighting fibro. Hopefully that answered your question. Very long-winded answer. Yay, me. Hello, Facebook user. So if you're not signed up with StreamYard, I can only see you as Facebook user. I can't see you as whoever you are. And the same is for YouTube. If you've signed in, yeah, hi. If you signed in through YouTube, I can't see you there either. Let's get to our second question of the day, which is how are muscle relaxers used to treat fibromyalgia? Okay. I am not a pharmacist. I am not a medical doctor or a registered nurse. I don't have that kind of schooling. Therefore, I am not qualified to answer those questions completely. Okay. I can provide you with a little bit of surface information that, my understanding of things, but you should use that information to further your studies. It is my understanding that for all intent purposes, do you know what? I am going to grab my board now, guys. We have pain receptors in our brain, and they're shaped very specifically, right? Okay. Now you can go to Science ASAP on YouTube. So in our brain, we have these little pockets of receptors like this. Okay. Now, I don't know. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Okay. So what happens is, my understanding, basically when we have pain, these receptors become, these receptors have pressure that's being applied to them. And so they start getting all wonky and irritated and out of control, right? When we take a pharmaceutical, for example, it comes in and basically blocks this. So nothing's getting in here to irritate it. And after a little while, this dissolves, this thing's all calmed down, and we're not in pain anymore. Unfortunately, and here's the problem from as basic block understanding, this is kindergarten explanation, guys, because I don't know and I'm not qualified to speak to the rest of it, okay? What happens then after a while is that receptor that we had that looked like this, after a while from that medication or overtaking that medication, that receptor becomes something like this. Okay, see the difference there? And what ends up happening is that what once only required one pill to block it is now requiring 2 pills to cover that pain. Do you understand? Now those 2 pills, first of all, you can see the first pill caused damage. And now having to put 2 pills there, there's going to be more damage and more damage and more damage. Cannabis, basically, and again, this is very rudimentary explanation. Cannabis and THC fit in like this, filling this up and reducing the pain. Kind of like giving it a coating of protection, okay? That is for all intent. Science ASAP on, so yeah, ASAP, science. On YouTube, really do a great explanation as to how things like Tylenol or Advil or Oxycontin, how they work on your brain and on your system. And not everything is accurate. Again, these fellows aren't medical professionals, but they are science studiers and they share the information as they have come to understand it, as do I. So for all intent purposes, that's basically how pain receptors are being blocked via medication or via cannabinoids, whatever it is that you're using. The idea is to block those pains and relax those receptors. It is unclear how medications specifically work on specific symptoms because, in particular for fibromyalgia patients, a lot of the pharmaceutical prescriptions that are prescribed are off-label. What that means is the drug or the chemical drug, let's take gabapentin, for example, was originally designed in the lab to work for, I don't know, Parkinson's, let's say. I'm pulling shit out of my arse here, but you get the idea. So let's say Parkinson's for the shakes and the vibrations and all the rest. And let's say that's what gabapentin was created for. But I can't remember what it was actually created for. I believe it's schizophrenia, and I could be wrong. But what it is it blocks the receptors in the brain so that we don't feel the pain. Well, pain, my friends, is not a bad thing. It is there to tell us, hello. Pain is there to tell us, hey, there's something going on here that is detrimental to my well-being. So addressing that pain, having an ache and going, okay, well, then I must have some inflammation in there. The brain's not working properly today and blah, 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 blah. So again, exactly how these pharmaceuticals work, talk to your pharmacist. That gives you a basis to start running with or to start looking up your own answers, I guess. YouTube is wonderful. Again, Science ASAP was a wonderful resource. Nice, clear, concise. So that's how muscle relaxers actually work. Now, if you're going to use something like cannabis as a muscle relaxant, and yes, it can be used in a multitude of ways. So ingesting in small doses throughout the day, microdosing, in other words, having about 0.25 of a milligram ingested every 4 hours, 3 or 4 times a day, seems to be enough to just keep that ache and pain away for the day. Okay, so that's one way of using cannabis. Another effort for using cannabis to keep the pains away as a muscle relaxant. Again, you can use the topicals, or you in any way. There's things like bath salts that you can soak in that really get infused into those muscles and relax them up wonderfully. A spray solution, a cannabis cream, again, reduces the inflammation, helps relax the muscles, calms things down, and does wonderful things. Okay, so I hope that answered your question, Angie. Michelle, when does fibromyalgia pain come and go? Whenever the hell it damn well wants to, unfortunately. And there's so many different triggers to to a fibro flare. Learning what it is that causes you to have a flare up is absolutely essential in your management strategy. So one of the things I recommend you do right away, Michelle, is get over to fightfibro.ca, subscribe today, and download that battle strategy guide template map. It's going to be up there for a little while longer. And when you download it, follow the instructions. When you notice that for about 10 days, you'll notice different things might trigger you and bring you down a little bit from where your health is. Start marking your health. Again, I love using whiteboards because with a whiteboard, I can say, oh, you know what? This triggered me down a bit, but this lifted me. And I can erase it because it changes day by day, right? Okay. So get over there to fightfibro.ca, download that battle strategy map and guide. It's free. Just subscribe and it's yours. And that'll really help you know that, hey, you know what? If I do that, that's really going to cause a fibro flare. Or, ooh, I just ate eggs. I'm making this up, but I just ate eggs and now, yeah, I'm noticing things are not good. Fibromyalgia, yes, is definitely worse for some people in colder weather, and for other patients, it's actually better. The heat is what irritates them. The one thing that scientists are looking at right now is the receptors in our hands happen to be significantly larger, and they do control our internal thermostats. So if you're someone like me, I freeze to death all the time. And so much as, or as little as 3 to 5 degrees temperature change within the same hour will cause me significant aches and pains simply because my body cannot adapt or adjust as quickly. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we do want to look at those receptors. And in fact, I've got a couple of articles coming out in the next little while about those specifically. The new science is absolutely phenomenal. So are there anything else on the days when your symptoms flare? Everything can feel more difficult. And I feel it's easy to become very discouraged. Yes, you know what? I hear you. It is easy to become discouraged. One of them. Thank you, my friend, Glenn Wells, 8 out of 10, Glenn. He's through another group. About a year and change ago, he started making a point of every morning starting his day off, finding something to be grateful for and sharing that. So it really does make a difference. How your morning starts does set the tone for the day. Having a little mantra that maybe you have to remember to practice each morning, several mornings in a row before it becomes a habit, will help to change and influence the mood for the entire day, right? So yeah, looking for the things that we're grateful for in the day. It's a beautiful weather, maybe, or maybe it was a nice quiet morning, or you know what, the coffee tasted extra special good this morning, right? It could be any of those things, but look for the positive things to start your day off properly. And when you find yourself becoming discouraged, having a plan or a strategy plan in place ahead of time, feeling that, okay, I'm recognizing this sadness kick in, maybe through hypnosis or NLP, have an anchor installed to look for your joy and to remember that joyful moment of something coming up. And I don't know if you guys just caught it, but I actually felt it. I have an anchor right here. That is a happy joy for me. So if I start to feel a little bit, oh, why am I doing this? You know, and I start to think of sad things, it's really easy to slip down into that cavern of chaotic thinking that is very depressive, and it's a hard place to crawl out of sometimes. So having anchors set through NLP and hypnosis that bring you your joy. So when I touch my anchor, I have a visual that kind of sparkles in my brain, sort of. And as it does, I get that yummy feeling in my belly of joyfulness, kind of like just when you get to the beach. Not anything extravagant, but just a little something like, when you just get to the beach and you've been dying to get there all day, and you get there and it's just beautiful golden, right? These are the little moments of joy. When you have them, install them like Polaroids in your brain. Have that picture. Those moments of joy, secure as much of that moment as you possibly can to create a Polaroid so that you can recall on it later. Something that know what it looks like visually, know it. Listen to the sounds that are around in that moment of joy. Is it your heart beating? Does your breath pick up faster? Your breathing? Or is it the sounds of the birds? Is it the sound of the beat of the music? Is it the sound of someone's voice? Is it the sound of the waves crashing? Listen for the sounds and feel whatever you possibly can in that moment of joy. Feel the air, smell the air, feel the texture of your clothing, feel the sensation on your skin, feel whatever you can. Because if you visually, audially, and kinesthetically attach this to that joyful moment, you can recall on that like that. And it is a wonderful, wonderful way to help get yourself out of despair or slipping into that despair, simply by touching an anchor. Or in my case, when I start to have anxiety, I seek my circle of power. This is a circle of power to which I have attached a significant strategy that rolls around. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, so a circle of power, we could talk about that another time. Okay, so a couple more questions. So when does the pain come and go? Everybody's different, and everybody's going to experience it a little bit different, but there are definitely things that you can do to recognize that you're going to have a flare-up or to avoid certain triggers so that you can prevent flare-ups. Last question, last but not least, yes, humidity and dampness for a lot of people is very challenging. So weather certainly plays a significant role in determining. There are environmental factors that we just simply do not have power or control over. I mean, our diet we do, exercise we do, sleep we sort of do, our medications we do. But there are environmental factors that are going to influence our ability to manage and control or prevent flare-ups. So when they occur, we just have to have a battle strategy in place. Okay, so last and not least, the question, are there any natural remedies for easting? Sorry, give me a second. Are there any natural remedies for? Okay, so I see the question you're trying to ask me. At least I think I'm going to get this right. You're asking me if there's any natural remedies for beating fibromyalgia. Yes, I discussed them all here today and on numerous other days and on every Friday, as well as every Thursday and every Monday via Green Irene THC. THC stands for Transformative Health Coaching. So it stands for more too, right? Tetrahydrocannabinol, but it's actually for transformative health coaching is what I do. And I use cannabis, neurolinguistic programming, and hypnosis. And in combination, they work really well. For more information about that specifically, please go to greenirene.ca. And in dealing with fibromyalgia specifically, please go to fightfibro.ca. Subscribe today. There's a lot of resources. I am putting out as much information as I possibly can. I am a one-woman show that wears many, many hats. Some other things that are natural that you can start considering using or implementing are low impact in exercise routines like Tai Chi. It's wonderful for the soul, the mind, and the body. Rehabilitative yoga is beautiful if you don't have balancing, and it can help you to develop the balancing so that you can do a smaller, lower impact yoga. Okay, so we're not doing those beautiful swan poses necessarily right away, but we will get there. So what else? Yeah, I'm trying to think of a couple of things, and really, it is about mind, body, soul. There is no cure to date specifically for fibromyalgia. Um, there are a lot of studies. There are still a lot of questions, but there are many, many, many things that we can do pharmaceutical free to manage the symptoms, reduce the number of flare-ups, and control the flare-ups when they appear. That being said, can I please post? What about dizziness and losing balance? Do you know what, Lisa? Dizziness and losing balance is very, very common because of a lot of times the inflammation that's in the brain. And there are some tools and techniques that we can do with deep breathing exercises and meditation that help reduce the number of flare-ups for the dizziness. However, that's a whole different topic. But if you like, Lisa, I would be more than happy to prepare a whole lot of information about that. And I will be back on Friday to next Friday, and I will definitely talk about balance and the neuralgia that goes, or not neuralgia. What am I looking for? What's the term? The vertigo and the brain fog that happens with fibro patients. So I'll be talking more about that next Friday. On that note, guys, tune in on Monday to greenirene.ca, where there will be a blog post. I'm not sure about what. I kind of lost track right now, and most of my posts, my articles are pre-scheduled, so I'm not sure, but I do think it's about bowels. On Wednesday, I will be back at Green Irene's THC Facebook group, having a toke too, and sharing everything that's new, because you know what, guys? A lot is new. On Thursday, of course, the fightfibro.ca website will host the article for fibromyalgia specifically, and different methods, tools, techniques, and strategies that we can employ to help battle pharma-free. On that note, thank you everybody for tuning in. I really much appreciate it. Keep those great questions coming. I will do my best to answer them as efficiently as I possibly can, or point you in the right direction if I don't have all the answers or am not qualified. On that note, take care, be happy, stay strong, and keep lit. Ciao for now. Ciao for now. Yes, Lisa, I'm going to post all the information in 10 seconds. Okay, 2 and 2. All right, dear. Ciao for now.